Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. We are back for another United Daily Live, the place where you get your latest Manchester United news, headlines, transfer rumours, all that good stuff, and a little bit on this day and everything else chucked into the mix. I'll also be reading out your comments, answering some of your questions too, as we look at some of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's quotes from his pre-match press conference ahead of that game against Southampton on Monday. Obviously, today it's Saturday. We usually have a game on a Saturday or on a weekend, but we've got to wait until Monday this time around. And I've just noticed this really isn't in focus, is it? So 1 second, little bit of magic. There we go, and now we're in focus. So that's a lot better. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has urged his players to keep their feet firmly on the ground and not to believe the hype after 17 games unbeaten for his Manchester United team. He's also shed a little bit of light on the issues that Manchester United face ahead of a potential pre-season, post-season period of around 2 or 3 weeks' time, depending how long Manchester United are in the Europa League for. If United play in the Europa League until the end of the season, which is around the 21st of August, I believe the final is, that will mean Manchester United have about 21 days, 3 weeks to get prepared for the new campaign, which I believe starts mid-September, around September the 12th. So it's a quick turnover from this season, the 2020 season, and of course the next season, which is the 2021 season. So those are causing issues for United in terms of the transfer window, in terms of pre-season, what kind of preparation do you get in? How much rest do players get? Do you start sending some of your players on holiday before the Europa League ends and kind of like, give, I don't know, send 5 of them out on holiday at a time and allow them to have breaks at separate times? We've got the LASK Linz game at the start of that month, which is obviously a dead rubber in terms of United are going to go through even if we lose that game. And then we got potentially 3 more games coming up: Istanbul, Besiktas or Copenhagen in the next round, and then someone like a Wolves or something like that, Sevilla, Olympiacos in the next phase. And you could allow your players to, a few of your players to go on a holiday whilst those first rounds are going on. But you've got to think, if we've not got Champions League football, then we're going to be wanting to go all out for the Europa League. So a lot depends on where we finish in the league as well. But we'll be getting Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's quotes on all of those things, as well as much, much more. But he has been saying not to believe the hype. He doesn't want his players to fall into the trap of believing the hype and thinking we've done our jobs, because we quite simply haven't. Whilst the run is good, whilst it's, we're back into the swing of things and we're getting results and we're getting goals and we're breaking little records here in the Premier League and all that kind of thing, we still need to keep it going. So I'm so glad that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is coming out and saying, boys, relax a little bit. We need to keep going. So let's get some of those quotes. But first off, I want to just see who's in the comments right now. I can see Simon's in the comments, Nostalgic Neil, Adam Jacob, Tom Walton, Michael Jones, Tom is there, Ross is back as well, Jay Reid is in the house, Ming, Tim Walsh is also in the house as well. And if you're here, give us a little like on the video too, and make sure you're subscribing if you're not subscribed yet. But let's get some of those quotes from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer ahead of that game against Southampton. Now, I'm a little bit worried about this game personally. Southampton have been showing some decent form. They look quite good against Manchester City, albeit Manchester City are a side that haven't got anything to fight for anymore in terms of, the title's gone. They're going to get Champions League football, all that kind of stuff. So their season, they're probably looking ahead to the Champions League season now, which is in August. So it's hard to say, obviously. But Southampton played well in that game, and they do worry me. And they're playing without pressure, which is always a problem as well. It can mean a good thing or a bad thing. But against City, it meant a bad thing for City. Right. Some of these quotes from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer then. So he's been speaking, and he's been speaking on a fair few people now. Also, he's got some quotes on Jack Charlton, who passed away in the last, I'm not sure whether it was last night or this morning, but he's passed away in the last couple of hours. So rest in peace to Jack Charlton, who's the older brother of Sir Bobby Charlton, a legend as well in the game. Obviously with Ireland, England even, Leeds, played for Leeds, didn't he? So yeah, what an absolute legend Jack Charlton was. And let's just read out some of the stats from him. He was an English footballer, obviously. He played for Leeds for most of his career. He managed Middlesbrough, Sheffield Wednesday, Newcastle United and Republic of Ireland, like I said, winning the World Cup with England and managing Ireland, and managing to get the affections of both of those nations, which is remarkable in itself. And he had a great career. Played in, how many seasons did he play for Leeds now? From 1952 to 1973, so 21 years with 762 games and 95 goals for them. He scored 6 goals for England, obviously helping England win the World Cup, winning a couple of British home championships as well. I say a couple, he won 4 and finishing 3rd in the Euros 2 years after that World Cup when he won the FWA Footballer of the Year in '67, and he was inducted into the English Football Hall of Fame in 2005. The brother of Sir Bobby Charlton. Rest in peace to Jack Charlton. And Solskjaer had this to say on the man himself. Very sad news, and a legend of football, a gent. I watched Norway play Ireland in the World Cup '94, but he was always so passionate when he was speaking, and it's sad to hear. So rest in peace to Jack Charlton. Solskjaer in that press conference also spoke about Mason Greenwood, and he said, at that age you've got so much energy, no fear, you just want to go and play football. If we had a day off, he'd go and play football with his mates. I'm not worried about Mason this season. We know what he's capable of. Always trusted him to be a part of this squad and chip in with performances and goals. We've seen it every day. I've seen it since I came to the club. On whether he's going to play an unchanged team against Southampton, he said there are so many things you have to consider when you manage a team, and there's squad players chomping at the bit to play and players who are in rhythm and who keep playing well. So he's not really giving anything away, but he's mentioning players are in rhythm, doing well, probably going to want to stick by them. Southampton's probably one of the most difficult games we've got left before the Leicester game. So I'd imagine there won't be many changes in that team. And then we've got a game on Thursday and Sunday, is it? Or Wednesday and Sunday? What is it next week? Let's have a look. Yeah, Thursday and Sunday. So I imagine there could be a few changes against Crystal Palace. Maybe you rest the likes of Matic and Co for that game against Chelsea. But he has opted to go with a cup team in the cup game. So maybe he'll stick to his guns. Who knows? When talking about planning for next season, he said quite a lot of planning going on for next season. When do we start the league? That's obviously determined by how far we go in Europe. So you can't really decide on the training program. There's so many small decisions, and of course sometimes transfers are out of our hands as well. If the team is going well, what do we need and what don't we need? That is the way we're working, and you've got to plan for different scenarios. I don't think the club would panic or go crazy with plans that we've already talked about for years to come. If we didn't qualify for the Champions League, short term some decisions will be easier to make if you get Champions League football. We were challenging for the trophies. If we were challenging for trophies, maybe I would say so. It feels like the old days. So he was asked whether it feels like the old days, and he said if we were challenging for trophies, maybe I'd say that. But now it's about developing this culture, keep doing things right, keep ticking one game off at a time. We've got to go one day at a time in the training ground environment, and hopefully keep on pushing. Every day is a chance to make or break that culture. And then he said now it's time to keep feet on the ground, keep working, don't believe in the hype and praise. That's not their job. The same as not believing all criticism when you don't do well. The end is not too far, so the goal is getting closer. Now the goals for this season are not goals that you'd associate with Manchester United. Obviously winning those 2 trophies, which we hope to do, that would be great, wouldn't it? But in terms of top 4, that's not where Manchester United want to be. So I'm glad that Ole's using his press conferences as a challenge to the players, and I have no doubt that he's doing that behind closed doors as well. We've got another super chat in from Bryce Menezes. Get your super chats in and get joining AdamMcKola TV too if you can. He says Shaw didn't get an assist. We need a new left back. Marshall didn't score. He's not that good. Greenwood is better. Fans with agendas. SMH. Yeah, I think I've been one of those that said Shaw needed to get changed. Not leave, but maybe play Brandon Williams, but at the same time, you have to give credit where credit's due, and his performances have been a lot better in recent games. Ocean Man says Ole's super level-headed, and I like that a lot. Michael says I believe in Ole, but it's Woodward that I don't. Fahim says, how can I join your channel? If you look next to the subscribe button, there'll be a button that says join if you have memberships available in your country. If you click that, you can join from there. Burrow with a song about Jackie Charlton. Love that stuff, mate. Rest in peace to Jack Charlton. So yeah, let us know what you're thinking about those quotes from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There was also a few others too. He was talking about Marcus Rashford, and he said, you can see with our players, he suddenly pops up on the right, Mason on the left, Marshall on the left. You want that rotation between them, but also the discipline to stick out wide and create a space for others. Sometimes you get an assist in my head where you're creating space and making runs for others. We see it. Now it's time to keep... Sorry, I've read that bit. He said he's physically coping with the game. He's mixing up his game. He's making defenders think, runs in behind, comes short, individual skills. Marcus has got all the attributes to be a top forward. And I think that's something we've got to say. Marcus Rashford hasn't been as great in front of goal since returning from his back injury. But his all-round game, I think, has definitely improved, and it's definitely got stronger. His ability to beat a man, his ability to pull off skills in the right places, in the dangerous places, sit defenders down, all that stuff. Marcus Rashford's looking really good at the minute. He just needs to find his finishing again. Once he's got his finishing boots back on, it'll be fully flying at that point. Bruno Fernandes yesterday won the Premier League Player of the Month, first one since Ronaldo to win back-to-back Player of the Month for United, and of course he got Goal of the Month too for that counter-attacking goal. I say he got Goal of the Month. It's probably more of a team Goal of the Month for the counter-attack itself. Matic's pass to Greenwood, Greenwood's pass to Bruno, Bruno's finish on the volley. I think each part of that was as good as each other, and it was a typical Manchester United goal. It was great to see us scoring in that manner against, was it Brighton that we scored that goal against? I think it was. We'll also be taking a look at that Europa League draw as well. The Europa League draw was made yesterday. Manchester United getting Istanbul, Besiktas or Copenhagen in the next round. Obviously, we have to finish our last 16 round against LASK Linz. That leg is going to be played at Old Trafford. We're 5-0 ahead in that game. And then we've got Istanbul, Besiktas or Copenhagen. Istanbul are winning after the first leg, 1-0 in that one. And then we'll get in the semi-final, if we get past Istanbul or Copenhagen, Olympiacos, Wolves, Sevilla or Roma. I remember playing Olympiacos under David Moyes. Little connection there. Wolves, we played them an awful lot under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Knocked them out of the FA Cup, was it this year? Or the League Cup? Not sure which one, but we knocked them out of one of the cups. Sevilla, obviously football heritage. How good would it be to beat Sevilla and then have Ole Gunnar Solskjaer saying, now that's football heritage? That would be great, wouldn't it? Or Roma, who we could be taking their best defender off their hands because he wouldn't be able to play against us in Chris Smalling. So the possible semi-final opponents, while they look difficult on paper, you'd be quite confident going in to play any of them that we could get the job done. So an interesting Europa League draw, that's for sure. And Bruno taking home double awards as well, the Premier League Goal of the Month and Player of the Month. The first player in Premier League history to win the Player of the Month and Goal of the Month awards concurrently. So there you go. First player in history. He's taken the Premier League by storm, hasn't he? He's been absolutely fantastic. I didn't think he'd settle so quickly. I thought he'd make an impact and he'd make a difference to the team. But I don't think any of us thought he'd settle this quickly and look this good so soon. He's been fantastic for United and he's been a big spark for the rest of the team. Not only does he take the pressure off Rashford, Marshall, they're all taking the pressure off each other now. Takes the pressure off Pogba. You know, he just demands so much, and you can tell that's infectious. It rubs off on the other players. I think Rashford's the same, Pogba's the same. And when you've got Harry Maguire at the back as well. Even though I'm unsure about him sometimes defensively, he's the right character to be having in the team. And you look from back to front, we've got the right mentality and the right players, and players that are always demanding more, always looking to constantly improve and get better. Dangarang says Bruno is killing it. Is Bruno available for the Europa League? I believe he is, but I'm not 100% sure on that, but I believe he is available for the Europa League, and that's been confirmed as well. He played against LASK Links, didn't he? Hold on, he's played for us in the Europa League, hasn't he? What am I talking about? Let me just double check that. I swear he played for us in that game. Yeah, he started for us in that game, so yeah, he's available for us in the Europa League. Europa League more important than the FA Cup, says Michael. It is without Champions League football, but if we get top 4, I'd rather get top 4 in the FA Cup than top 4 in the Europa League. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely would prefer to win the FA Cup. I'm sure a Europa League has more prestige, and you know, you get to play in a Super Cup after, potentially beat the Champions League winners in a game. But for me, I'd rather win the FA Cup. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. Would you rather win the FA Cup or the Europa League if we already had Champions League football? So take the Champions League football out of the equation. That LASK Linz game was so long, I forgot who had played in it. But I definitely think we should just play the under-23s against them in the second leg. Just take out the whole first team. There's no need risking anybody. Right, let's do it on this day. What date are we on? We're on the 11th. Right. Well, that's February. That's June. Right. Here we go. Monday the... Oh, for fuck. This isn't even a football one. We got to read it out anyway. Monday the 11th of July, 2011. David Beckham announces the birth of his first daughter, Harper 7, on Facebook. Why is this in this? I know it's Beckham. I love Beckham, but really? On his page, Beckham gushes, I am so proud and excited to announce the birth of our daughter, Harper 7 Beckham. I don't know why it's in there. They were struggling on July the 11th, weren't they? They really were struggling for things on July the 11th. Probably no transfers happened on this day. I'm not too sure, but they were struggling July the 11th, weren't they? FA Cup would be nice if we had a little City in the final and whipped them. It's going to be a difficult FA Cup, isn't it? You beat Chelsea, you got City potentially in the final. Got to beat two big teams to get there. Can we get hitting the like button, please, guys? Get subscribing as well if you're not already subscribed. We've got over 300 people watching at the minute. We're currently on 76,314 subs. I bet at least 36 of you are not subscribed, and you can hit that subscribe button right now and get me to 76,350. Hit that subscribe button, god damn it. But let us know what you're thinking about all that we discussed today, and everyone getting their happy birthday Harper messages here. It's the only YouTube channel where we've ever had that happen, I think. Jesus Christ. What else we got to talk about? Sancho apparently giving United positive signs. Let's go see what the latest is on Jadon Sancho. We've got the preview for the Southampton game coming up later on today as well, guys. So make sure you're keeping it locked for that. Right. Manchester United are offered a Jadon Sancho transfer hope despite Borussia Dortmund price tag. Apparently we heard the other day that price tag dropped to £90 million, but they're still sticking to £100 million. It says Man United are still expected to sign Jadon Sancho despite reports claiming they won't pay more than £50 million for the winger. How long ago were those reports? What the hell are you like doing reporting this as new news today? We covered those reports time ago. There's even another one saying United are considering a move for Ousmane Dembele. We heard about that before as well. This is what the papers are writing about today. To me, Jadon Sancho is a done deal to United. It's just a case of how much we're going to pay for him. Simple as that. How much are we going to pay for Jadon Sancho? I think that's the only thing left to decide. Welcome back, I believe, to the memberships, Mike Smalling. Thank you for joining us, mate. Again, I think. Thank you. Tom says Greenwood's form will bring Sancho's price down at least 10 large. I think that price is down anyway. We've heard for a long time, last summer it was 115 mil, 120 mil, 130 mil. This summer it was like the same, and now they're slowly dropping down, and we hear it 89, 90 million, 95 million, 70 plus 20 like we're hearing it's going to be, I think United are going to pay up front about 70, 75 million. United are just getting them down, getting the price down. I don't agree with that, Habiba. How you doing, by the way? He says 50 million is enough for him, man. I don't agree with that. I think he's worth a little bit more. Smalling, please make sure Roma go through to the semis, says Cannonballer. You think we batter them? Another 7-1. You know what's good as well, yeah? All this Europa League stuff's going to be settled on a day. So it's like a little World Cup Euros tournament with clubs, which is decent. Chris says he's late, he needs to watch from the start. You could stay with us till the end of this show and then rewind and get the first 20 minutes back. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. Feb 2016 talking about Tony Marshall, came from France. Anthony Martial has been in great form, hasn't he? He looked really good the other day as well. And in the power rankings top 10, you got Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba, Mason Greenwood and Anthony Martial. And the power rankings top 10 is like sort of a ranking system of players in the Premier League. And United have 4 of the top 10 players in that ranking. How far are Rashford and Anthony Martial from the Golden Boot race? They're a bit far in it. They're not going to get anywhere near that, are they? So Aubameyang or Vardy for that. So Vardy's on 22, Aubameyang's on 20, Martial and Rashford are on 15. Could possibly catch Aubameyang if he didn't score again, but probably not going to catch Vardy. Let's be real. But that's a good record, man. The only players that have got more than them are Mane's on 16, Aguero 16, Salah 19, Ings 19, Aubameyang 20, and Vardy 22. Martial and Rashford both sitting there on 15. Bet Mason Greenwood's about here somewhere as well. Bruno Fernandes on 7, Mason's on 9. So Mason's the 20th top goal scorer, Bruno's the 30th top goal scorer. And Martial and Rashford are 7th in the list. Not bad at all. Anyway, do you think Bruno deserved goal of the month? Did you see the meltdown that caused? It's hilarious, man. Arsenal fans especially, like, why are you moaning about us getting player of the month, goal of the month, when you are battling with Burnley for fucking 10th spot? Mind your own business. Catch Firmino. Firmino scored. Did you see Jamie Carragher's comments about Marshall the other day? He said Man United couldn't win the league with Marshall as their number 9. They need a world-class number 9. Weird that, because current Premier League champions number 9 isn't better than Anthony Marshall. He doesn't have a better goal-scoring record than Anthony Marshall. Because I didn't see him in that list. Did you see him in that list? I never seen him in that list. Anthony Marshall and Rashford have more goals than Roberto Firmino. In fact, Roberto Firmino has got less Premier League goals than Mason Greenwood, and he plays in the number 9 position for the current Premier League champions. What the fuck is Jamie Carragher talking about? Like, first off, what would he know about winning a league apart from, he left the club and then they finally won it? Whoop-de-doo. Alright, you're an Everton fan anyway. But secondly, like, at least use your brain. Liverpool's number 9 hasn't even scored at home in God knows how long, and Liverpool beat everyone 5-0. Like, how does that make sense? How is your number 9 not scoring when most games you're winning comfortably? But he'll score one in the FA Cup against Shrewsbury with a no look, and apparently is the best thing. Fuck off. Just forget it. Martial's better than Firmino, so it doesn't make sense in you saying that. And I think what we've seen from Martial through the season is he's improving, he's getting better. He's hit 20 goals this season. He's going to get more. He's going to push on. Simple as that. Quick Clip says, I'm new to your channel. I have subscribed, but what do you think of Grealish's performance against Man United? I think it was a tricky one for him. I don't think he played well at all. I think you kind of just see in his heart has probably gone now. You can see Villa have almost sank. They've almost been relegated. And he's probably thinking, what the hell am I doing here? But it's, you know, he'll be gutted to see them go down as being a Villa fan. But the truth is, he shouldn't be playing in a team that's scrapping. And whether he's a fan of them or not, he needs to leave and come to Manchester United. Come to death row. Would I take Ousmane Dembele over Sancho? I would not, Logan. I really wouldn't. I do not want him at all. Habiba says Martial is class. Firmino ain't hungry enough. MU says Tony only got to play proper football under Ole. Can you imagine if we had Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford without the interference of fucking Jose Mourinho? Oh, God. Grealish or Van der Beek, says Say. I'd go Grealish instead of Van der Beek. I don't think Van der Beek's a bad player at all. I think he's a good player. But I'd take Jack Grealish over Van der Beek. Thank you very much, Rafe. Says can't join from this country but love the content. Disagree with you on Shaw. He's been really good and now maybe better than before. Also, why no one talking about the little tricks from Rashford? I agree with you on that. We were speaking about Rashford earlier when we had them quotes from Ole. And I do think in the last couple of games, Luke Shaw has proven me wrong. And his performance levels have definitely improved. Long may it continue and long may he keep it up. I think he's reacted to the challenge from Brandon Williams very well. And hopefully now we can see more from him and from Brandon Williams as well, because I want Brandon to get an opportunity. Did y'all watch the All or Nothing trailer teaser? Says Nick. I did see that, yeah. I cannot wait to see that. Did you see all their faces when Jose walked in? That would have been mine too. Who do we get for cover when Igalo leaves us? And Jan says Vinesh. There's been talk we're going to be going for a striker now, which is, well, not now, but in the summer, which is a bit mad. We'd then have like too many strikers until January when Igalo would probably leave. So we'll see what happens. Sal Niguez to replace Matic. That would be good, but I can't see us getting Sal Niguez. Not yet anyway, unless it was available under free. If I was to predict our summer, I'd go Sancho, Grealish and another, like a defender or something. The Sun claims United have bid 50 million on Chiesa, says Logan. I think the first 3 words of your comment say all that needs to be said about that story. What's going on, Man United Caribbean? Raul Jimenez as a backup, that would be good. Raul Jimenez is class, isn't he? Whether he'd want to come to United and sit on the bench is another story. But you're going to be able to play. Like, it's like saying Jack Grealish does he want to come and sit on the bench. Well, actually, you're going to have 60, 65 games a season. You're going to be starting enough games, rotation, coming off the bench. Like, it's going to be a squad effort, and especially if you're in the Champions League as well. You're going to need a massive squad. And your players are more likely to be wanting to play for you if you're fighting for the Champions League and the Premier League and all these things than if you're not. If you're rotating players and you're in the Europa and the League Cup, it doesn't work as well, does it? So, there you go. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to United Daily Live. Make sure you're keeping it locked. Liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. We're going to have a preview up for you very later on as well. A Man United Southampton preview, so keep it tuned for that. And for now, I've been AdamMcKola. You lot have been legends. I'm out of here.